The year was 2147, and humanity had finally achieved what was once thought impossible. First contact with extraterrestrial life. It wasn't the dramatic encounter people had imagined in movies or books. Instead, it began with a faint signal intercepted by deep space probes near Proxima Centauri. Decades later, after painstaking decoding and cautious responses, humans were invited to join the Galactic Council, a coalition of advanced alien civilizations spanning thousands of star systems. At first, hope filled the air. Humanity saw this as a chance to leave its troubled past behind and step into a brighter future. Leaders from Earth traveled aboard massive starships to attend their first council summit on the glittering planet of Aurelus 9, but optimism quickly turned sour. To the other species, humans were seen as reckless and dangerous, an unpredictable race with a violent history of war, environmental destruction, and unchecked ambition. Despite assurances that Earth had changed, whispers of distrust spread like wildfire among the council chambers. Tensions reached a boiling point when an experimental human terraforming project went horribly wrong. Hoping to demonstrate their progress, scientists attempted to revitalize a barren moon orbiting a minor alien colony world. What they didn't anticipate was the delicate balance of the ecosystem hidden beneath the surface. Within weeks, toxic gases erupted from the ground, poisoning the atmosphere and rendering the planet uninhabitable for its native species. Thousands of innocent lives were lost. The backlash was swift and merciless. Accusations flew at humanity, labeling them as irresponsible and unfit to participate in galactic affairs. Some members of the council called for severe punishment, while others argued for complete isolation. In the end, a unanimous decision was made. Earth would be banned from all interstellar trade, communication, and travel. No ship could leave the solar system, and no alien vessel would ever return. Humanity was exiled, not just physically, but socially, cut off from the rest of the galaxy. Back on Earth, chaos erupted. Economies crumbled overnight as industries dependent on imported alien technology collapsed. Food shortages became rampant, and political instability tore nations apart. Riots broke out in cities worldwide as fear and anger consumed the population. Many blamed the government, while others turned their rage toward the aliens who had abandoned them. Yet, amidst the despair, a small group of visionaries refused to give up. Dr. Elena Vasquez, a brilliant astrophysicist, gathered a team of the brightest minds left on Earth. Together, they formed a secret initiative known only as Project Phoenix. Hidden beneath the ruins of an old research facility in the Andes Mountains, the project aimed to ensure humanity's survival and eventual resurgence. "If the galaxy won't help us," Dr. Vasquez declared during one late-night meeting, "then we'll rise stronger than ever. We'll prove to them that we don't need their pity or approval." Her words ignited a spark of determination among her colleagues. They worked tirelessly, scavenging scraps of abandoned alien tech and developing new innovations born purely out of necessity. Slowly but surely, humanity began to adapt. Renewable energy sources replaced dwindling fossil fuels, vertical farming fed growing populations, and AI systems streamlined production processes. Though the road ahead seemed impossibly hard, there was something undeniable about the resilience of humankind. As years passed, the scars of betrayal faded, replaced by a quiet resolve. Deep down, everyone knew the banishment wouldn't last forever. Someday, humanity would find a way to reclaim its place among the stars. And when that day came, they'd vowed it wouldn't be through begging or submission, but through strength, ingenuity, and unity. Little did anyone know, the seeds of greatness were already being sown in the shadows of Earth's darkest hour. The decades following humanity's banishment from the Galactic Council were some of the hardest in Earth's history. Cut off from alien technology, resources, and knowledge, humans faced a crisis unlike any before. But necessity is the mother of invention, and as the old saying went, humanity thrived under pressure. Without access to advanced materials or interstellar trade, Earth had to make do with what it already had. Governments crumbled under the weight of economic collapse, giving rise to regional coalitions focused on survival rather than politics. The United Nations dissolved, replaced by smaller alliances like the Pacific Coalition, the Eurasian Union, and the African Resurgence Movement. These groups weren't perfect. They argued over resources and territory, but they shared one common goal: keeping humanity alive. At first, progress was slow. Factories that once relied on alien alloys retooled to use recycled metals. Farmers experimented with hydroponics and vertical farming to grow food in cities where arable land was scarce. Scientists scavenged remnants of abandoned alien tech, piecing together fragments to create new tools and machines. It was messy, chaotic work, but it kept people fed, clothed, and sheltered. Then came the breakthroughs. Desperate for energy solutions, researchers unlocked the secrets of fusion power, a clean, limitless source of electricity. Solar panels became more efficient, wind turbines grew taller, and geothermal plants dotted volcanic regions. Entire communities transitioned to renewable energy, freeing themselves from dependence on dwindling fossil fuels. For the first time in centuries, Earth began healing itself. Air quality improved, forests regrew, and rivers ran clear again. But perhaps the greatest leap forward came from artificial intelligence. With no alien supercomputers to rely on, humanity turned inward, developing its own quantum computing systems. AI assistants managed supply chains, optimized agriculture, and even helped design new medicines. Self-learning algorithms solved problems faster than human minds ever could, accelerating innovation across every field. By 2180, AI had become an indispensable part of daily life, not as rulers or overlords, but as partners in rebuilding Earth. Amidst these advancements, a new culture emerged. Gone were the days of greed and division. Survival required cooperation. People valued resilience, creativity, and unity above all else. Artists painted murals celebrating human ingenuity. Musicians composed songs about overcoming adversity, and storytellers wove tales of hope for future generations. Even language evolved. Words like together and perseverance took on deeper meanings, reflecting humanity's collective spirit. Yet not everyone was content with mere survival. Rumors spread about Project Phoenix, the secretive initiative led by Dr. Elena Vasquez. No one outside her team knew exactly what she was working on, but whispers hinted at something extraordinary, a project so ambitious it could change humanity's fate forever. Some dismissed it as fantasy, while others clung to it as a beacon of hope. Whatever the truth, the idea of Project Phoenix inspired millions to keep pushing forward, even when times felt darkest. By 2200, Earth looked nothing like it had a century earlier. Cities gleamed with green rooftops and solar panels. Farms stretched vertically into the sky, producing enough food to feed billions. Space exploration within the solar system flourished, with colonies established on Mars and robotic probes exploring Jupiter's moons. Humanity wasn't just surviving, it was thriving. Still, there was an unspoken question lingering in everyone's minds. What next? Earth was strong now, but it remained isolated, trapped within its own solar system. Was this truly the end of humanity's story, or just the beginning of a new chapter? As Dr. Vasquez often said during her rare public appearances, we've proven we can stand on our own 2 feet. Now it's time to show the galaxy what we're capable of. And deep beneath the Andes Mountains, her team worked tirelessly toward that very goal. By the year 2220, humanity had transformed itself in ways no one could have imagined a century earlier. Earth was no longer just a single planet struggling to survive. It had become the heart of a thriving interplanetary civilization. With Mars now home to sprawling domed cities, Titan hosting massive helium-3 mining operations, and Europa's icy surface dotted with research outposts, humanity's reach extended far beyond its cradle. But as progress continued, so did the need for unity. Out of this necessity rose the Sol Federation, a new governing body that united all human colonies under one banner. The creation of the Sol Federation wasn't easy. For decades, regional coalitions on Earth had operated independently, often clashing over resources and territory. Colonies in space weren't much better. Settlers on Mars resented those on Earth for demanding supplies, while miners on Titan complained about unfair trade practices. Tensions simmered, threatening to boil over into conflict. It took the leadership of Dr. Elena Vasquez, now elderly but still sharp, to bring everyone together. Vasquez called for a global summit, inviting representatives from every corner of humanity's domain. Held aboard a massive orbital station called Unity Hub, the meeting became known as the Conclave of Stars. There, she delivered a speech that would be remembered for generations. We are one species, bound by shared dreams and struggles. Whether we live beneath Earth's skies or among the red sands of Mars, we must stand united if we wish to endure. Her words struck a chord. After weeks of heated debates and negotiations, the Sol Federation was born. Its charter emphasized cooperation, innovation, and equality, ensuring that no colony or region would dominate the others. A council of elected leaders governed the Federation, with each member representing a different world or sector. At its head stood President Amara Chen, a former Martian engineer known for her pragmatism and vision. With unity came prosperity. The Federation pooled resources, combining Earth's agricultural abundance, Mars' mineral wealth, and Titan's energy reserves into a self-sustaining economy. Quantum computing networks connected every colony, enabling instant communication across millions of miles. Trade routes flourished, with cargo ships ferrying goods between planets using advanced ion propulsion systems. Even cultural exchange thrived, as artists, scientists, and philosophers traveled freely throughout the solar system. But not everyone agreed on humanity's future direction. As life improved, factions within the Federation began debating what to do about the Galactic Council. Some argued for revenge, urging the construction of a military fleet to challenge the aliens who had abandoned them. Others believed humanity should focus inward, perfecting its own society before venturing further into the galaxy. Then there were those who supported Dr. Vasquez's vision, proving humanity's worth through achievement rather than aggression. Behind closed doors, Vasquez worked tirelessly on Project Phoenix, which remained shrouded in secrecy. While most citizens saw it as a symbol of hope, rumors circulated about its true purpose. Some claimed it was a weapon capable of destroying entire star systems, while others whispered it might be a way to break the Council's banishment once and for all. Whatever the truth, Vasquez refused to comment, saying only, "Patience is our greatest ally." Meanwhile, tensions grew within the Federation. Militarists on Mars pushed for expansionist policies, advocating colonizing more distant moons and asteroids. Pacifists on Earth countered that such actions risked provoking the Council again. Debates raged in council chambers, but President Chen maintained a steady hand, balancing competing interests while steering humanity toward stability. As the years passed, humanity's achievements spoke louder than any argument. New technologies emerged at an unprecedented pace, from gravity-manipulating engines to AI-driven terraforming techniques. The solar system became a testament to human ingenuity, with every planet and moon contributing to the collective effort. Yet deep down, everyone knew the question remained unanswered. Would humanity stay confined to its solar system forever? Or would it rise to reclaim its place among the stars? And somewhere beneath the Andes Mountains, Project Phoenix neared completion, its secrets waiting to reshape destiny. In the year 2235, humanity's relentless pursuit of knowledge led to one of the most extraordinary discoveries in its history. It happened during a routine exploration mission in the Kuiper Belt, a distant region of icy debris at the edge of the solar system. A team of scientists aboard the research vessel Odyssey had been mapping comets when they stumbled upon something that defied explanation, a massive ancient artifact buried deep within the heart of a comet. At first glance, the object appeared unremarkable. A jagged metallic shard, roughly the size of a small house. But as the crew examined it more closely, they realized it was far from ordinary. Its surface shimmered with patterns that seemed to shift and change, almost like liquid metal frozen mid-motion. Sensors detected energy signatures unlike anything recorded before, pulsating waves of quantum fluctuations that hinted at technology far beyond human understanding. The discovery sent shockwaves through the Sol Federation. Scientists from across the solar system flocked to study the artifact, dubbing it the Void Engine. Initial theories suggested it might be some kind of propulsion system, but no one could decipher how it worked or what it was truly capable of. For years, teams labored tirelessly, running simulations, conducting experiments, and analyzing every inch of the mysterious device. Finally, after nearly a decade of painstaking research, a breakthrough came. Dr. Elena Vasquez herself, now frail but still brilliant, led the effort to unlock the Void Engine's secrets. Her team discovered that the artifact wasn't just a machine. It was a key to manipulating space-time itself. By harnessing its power, humanity could achieve instantaneous travel, not just between planets, but across entire galaxies. The implications were staggering. News of the Void Engine spread quickly, igniting both excitement and fear. Some saw it as humanity's ticket to freedom, a way to escape the confines of the solar system and reclaim its place among the stars. Others worried about the dangers it posed. If such advanced technology fell into the wrong hands, or worse, if the Galactic Council learned of its existence, it could spell disaster for humanity. As debates raged within the Federation, whispers of the discovery reached ears outside Earth's borders. Spies working for the Council intercepted encrypted transmissions detailing the Void Engine's capabilities. Though humanity believed itself isolated, remnants of alien surveillance networks still lingered at the edges of the solar system. These spies reported back to their superiors, raising alarms within the Council chambers. Meanwhile, Captain Rio Morales, commander of the Federation's flagship Eclipse, grew increasingly uneasy. Tasked with patrolling the outer reaches of the solar system, she began noticing strange anomalies, ships lingering near restricted zones, signals bouncing off asteroids, and unidentified drones skirting Federation patrols. Something was amiss, and Ria suspected the Council was involved. Back on Earth, President Amara Chen convened an emergency meeting with her advisors. "We can't keep this quiet forever," she warned. "If the Council finds out about the Void Engine, they'll see it as a threat. We need to decide what to do, and fast." Dr. Vasquez argued against secrecy. "This isn't just our discovery," she said firmly. "It belongs to all intelligent life. If we use it wisely, it could unite us with the galaxy instead of dividing us further." But not everyone agreed. Military leaders urged caution, insisting the Void Engine remain hidden until humanity could defend itself. Others proposed using it to strike back at the Council, forcing them to lift the banishment once and for all. As tensions mounted, humanity stood at a crossroads. The Void Engine represented unparalleled opportunity, but also unprecedented danger. Would it become a beacon of hope, bridging the gap between humans and aliens? Or would it ignite a new conflict, pulling humanity deeper into the shadows of interstellar politics? For now, the artifact remained locked away in a high-security facility beneath the Andes Mountains, guarded by layers of encryption and elite Federation soldiers. But even the strongest walls couldn't contain secrets forever. Somewhere in the vast expanse of space, forces were gathering, preparing to act. And when they did, humanity would face its greatest test yet. The discovery of the Void Engine had been a turning point for humanity, but it also cast long shadows. As whispers of its existence spread beyond Earth's borders, so did the dangers that came with it. The Galactic Council, though officially unaware of the artifact, had begun to suspect something was amiss. Their spies lurked in the darkness of space, watching and waiting for an opportunity to strike. Captain Ria Morales knew this better than anyone. Stationed aboard the Federation flagship Eclipse, she patrolled the outer edges of the solar system, her crew vigilant for any signs of infiltration. But despite their efforts, cracks were starting to show. Strange signals bounced off asteroids near Neptune. Unidentified drones darted through restricted zones, disappearing before they could be intercepted. And then there was the matter of Commander Cal Armitage, a brilliant strategist who had recently transferred from Mars to join the Eclipse's crew. Cal had arrived under unusual circumstances. A decorated officer with a reputation for brilliance, he claimed to have defected from the Martian military after uncovering evidence of corruption tied to militarists within the Sol Federation. His story checked out, at least on paper, and his skills proved invaluable during patrols. Yet Rhea couldn't shake the feeling that something about him didn't add up. He was too calm under pressure, too knowledgeable about classified Federation operations, and too eager to volunteer for dangerous missions. Her suspicions deepened when an alien probe was discovered drifting near Saturn. It bore markings consistent with technology used by the Galactic Council, suggesting it was sent to gather intelligence. What troubled Rhea most, however, was how quickly Cal seemed to know exactly where to find it. When questioned, he dismissed her concerns, claiming his expertise in xenotechnology made him uniquely suited to track such devices. Still, Rhea ordered additional surveillance on him, just in case. Meanwhile, tensions aboard the Eclipse grew. The crew worked tirelessly, knowing that if the Council learned about the Void Engine, humanity's fragile peace would shatter. Some argued for preemptive action, sending ships to destroy spy networks before they could report back. Others urged restraint, fearing even a single misstep could provoke war. Caught between these factions, Rhea struggled to maintain order while keeping her own doubts hidden. The breaking point came during a routine patrol near Uranus. Sensors detected an unauthorized vessel attempting to breach Federation airspace. Rhea ordered pursuit, leading the Eclipse into a high-speed chase through icy rings and treacherous debris fields. The intruder ship was fast, weaving unpredictably as it tried to evade capture. Just as the Eclipse closed in, the vessel launched a decoy drone, creating a diversion that allowed it to escape. Back aboard the ship, Rhea reviewed the data collected during the chase. To her horror, she found traces of encrypted transmissions coming from inside the Eclipse itself. Transmissions timed perfectly to coincide with the appearance of the intruder ship. Her blood ran cold as realization dawned. There was a traitor among them. Confronting Cal in private, Rhea accused him of being a Council operative. At first, he denied it, maintaining his cover with practiced ease. But when she presented irrefutable evidence, a log of outgoing messages linked to his quarters, he finally cracked. "You don't understand," he said, his voice trembling. "They gave me no choice. If I hadn't cooperated, they would have targeted my family." Rhea felt a pang of sympathy but steeled herself. "You've betrayed us all," she said firmly, "but you won't get away with it." With Cal detained, Rhea faced a new dilemma. Should she expose the spy to the entire Federation, risking panic, or keep it quiet, knowing the Council likely already knew enough to act? Either way, time was running out. Humanity's greatest secret was no longer safe. And soon, the galaxy would come knocking. As the Eclipse turned toward Earth, Rhea stared out at the stars, wondering if humanity was ready for what lay ahead. Somewhere in the void, forces were gathering, preparing to test the limits of human ingenuity and resolve. And this time, there would be no room for error. The Sol Federation faced a dilemma. With the Void Engine's secrets no longer secure, President Amarachen and her advisors knew humanity couldn't afford to wait for the Galactic Council to make the first move. The artifact was too powerful and too dangerous to keep hidden indefinitely. Instead of cowering in fear, they decided to take control of the narrative. Humanity would step back onto the galactic stage, not as supplicants begging for forgiveness, but as equals demanding respect. A delegation was assembled, led by Ambassador Cal Armitage, the same man who had once been a spy for the Council. After his betrayal was uncovered aboard the Eclipse, Cal had struck a deal with Captain Rhea Morales. He would help expose the Council's corruption in exchange for leniency. Though many distrusted him, his knowledge of alien politics made him invaluable. Accompanied by Dr. Elena Vasquez, whose work on the Void engine symbolized humanity's resilience, and a contingent of elite guards, the team set out for Nexus Prime, a neutral diplomatic station orbiting a dying star at the edge of Council-controlled space. Nexus Prime was a marvel of engineering, a sprawling hub where species from across the galaxy gathered to trade, negotiate, and sometimes conspire. For humanity, it was unfamiliar territory. None of them had ever stepped foot outside their solar system before. As their ship docked, the delegation prepared for what could be their most important mission yet. They carried proof of the Void engine's existence, not to flaunt its power, but to demonstrate humanity's potential as a force for good. The Council representatives awaited them in a grand chamber filled with holographic displays and shimmering light. Among them was Zinara, an ambassador from the aquatic Cytherians known for her calm demeanor and sharp intellect. She eyed the humans with cautious curiosity, clearly intrigued by their boldness. Other council members, however, were less welcoming. A towering Vorthakian warrior glared down at them, while a wiry Krillic scientist muttered about primitive upstarts. Ambassador Kale opened the meeting, his voice steady despite the weight of his past. "We come not as enemies, but as fellow citizens of the stars," he began. "Humanity has grown stronger since our banishment. We've rebuilt our world, expanded into our solar system, and unlocked technologies that could benefit us all." He gestured toward Dr. Vasquez, who activated a hologram of the Void engine. The room fell silent as the swirling patterns of quantum energy illuminated their faces. But the Council wasn't easily swayed. Accusations flew. Some accused humanity of stealing the artifact. Others dismissed it as a hoax. Tensions flared when the Vorthakian representative slammed his fist on the table, declaring, "You are reckless. Such power belongs only to those wise enough to wield it." Before chaos erupted, Zinara intervened. Her melodic voice cut through the noise like waves crashing against a shore. "Let us hear them out," she said firmly. Turning to the humans, she asked, "What do you seek? Forgiveness, revenge, or something more?" Dr. Vasquez stepped forward, her frail frame radiating quiet strength. "Neither forgiveness nor revenge," she replied. "We seek partnership. The Void engine is proof that humanity can contribute to the galaxy, not through conquest, but through collaboration. Together, we can explore new frontiers, solve shared challenges, and build a brighter future." Her words sparked murmurs among the council members. Some seemed moved, while others remained skeptical. But behind the scenes, unseen forces worked against humanity. A rogue faction within the council, fearful of losing their grip on power, plotted to sabotage the talks. Unknown to anyone, a bomb had been smuggled aboard Nexus Prime, set to detonate during the negotiations. As the debate continued, Captain Ria Morales, monitoring events from the eclipse, detected unusual energy readings near the station. Realizing the danger, she raced to intervene, knowing failure meant disaster. Humanity's second chance at first contact hung precariously in the balance, teetering between hope and catastrophe. Just as humanity's delegation began to make headway at Nexus Prime, disaster struck. A deafening explosion rocked the diplomatic chamber, sending shards of glass and debris flying in every direction. Alarms blared, and smoke filled the air as chaos erupted. Council representatives scrambled for cover, shouting accusations over the din. Amidst the panic, one fact was clear: someone had sabotaged the talks. Captain Ria Morales had barely arrived in time to prevent total catastrophe. After detecting unusual energy readings near the station, she'd ordered the Eclipse to move closer under the guise of routine patrols. When her sensors confirmed an imminent threat, she launched a shuttle without hesitation, arriving moments before the bomb detonated. Though her quick thinking saved countless lives, including those of Ambassador Kel Armitage and Dr. Elena Vasquez, the damage was done. Trust between humanity and the Galactic Council teetered on the brink of collapse. The Council wasted no time pointing fingers. "This is proof of human aggression," roared the Vorthakian warrior, his voice cutting through the confusion like thunder. "They've come here to destroy us." Others quickly joined the chorus, their voices rising in anger and fear. Even Zanara, who had initially shown sympathy toward humanity, looked troubled. Her wide, luminous eyes scanned the room, searching for answers. Kel Armitage stepped forward, his hands raised in a gesture of peace. "We didn't do this," he insisted, his voice steady despite the weight of accusation. "If we wanted war, why would we risk coming here unarmed? This attack benefits no one but those who wish to keep humanity isolated." His words sparked murmurs among some council members, but skepticism remained thick in the air. That's when Captain Rhea intervened, storming into the chamber with grim determination etched across her face. Behind her trailed a team of engineers carrying evidence recovered from the wreckage, a small device bearing insignias unmistakably linked to a rogue faction within the council itself. "Your own people are responsible for this," Rhea declared, holding up the damaged device. "This isn't about humanity. It's about control. Someone doesn't want peace." Her revelation sent shockwaves through the chamber. Whispers turned to shouts as factions within the council began turning on each other. Zanara seized the moment, her calm authority cutting through the noise. "Enough," she commanded, silencing the room. Turning to Rhea, she asked, "How can you prove this?" Rhea activated a holographic display, showing intercepted communications and schematics tied to the rogue faction. The leader of the group, an extremist named Corthan, had long opposed any reconciliation with humanity, viewing them as a destabilizing force. Evidence suggested he'd orchestrated the bombing to frame humans and spark outright war. As the truth came to light, cracks appeared in the council's unity. Some species sided with Zanara, calling for justice and cooperation. Others rallied behind Corthan, accusing humanity of fabricating evidence to manipulate the situation. Tensions escalated until it seemed the entire galaxy might descend into chaos. In the midst of the turmoil, Dr. Vasquez addressed the room, her frail voice carrying surprising strength. "This proves exactly why the Void Engine matters," she said softly, yet firmly. "It represents not just power, but choice. The choice to build bridges instead of walls. Will you let fear divide you, or will you stand together?" Her words resonated deeply, especially with oppressed species weary of the Council's tyranny. Slowly, allies began forming around humanity, not out of pity, but out of shared hope for a better future. But the battle wasn't over. Corthan's forces mobilized, preparing to strike Nexus Prime again. Humanity now faced its greatest test. Could they protect their fragile alliance while exposing the Council's corruption? As the Eclipse took position above the station, Rhea knew the next few hours would decide everything, for humanity, and for the galaxy itself. With the rogue faction, led by Corthan, preparing to attack Nexus Prime, humanity found itself at a crossroads. The fragile coalition of species supporting them was still too weak to stand against the Council's full might. If they acted rashly or defensively, it could destroy any chance of earning the galaxy's trust. But if they did nothing, Corthan's forces would crush both the delegation and their newfound allies, framing humanity for the violence in the process. Captain Rhea Morales knew what had to be done. She gathered her crew aboard the Eclipse, along with Ambassador Kel Armitage and Dr. Elena Vasquez, who insisted on staying despite her age. "This is our moment," Vasquez said firmly. "We've spent decades proving we're more than survivors, we're leaders. Now we must act like it." The plan was bold, risky, and uniquely human. A tactic born not of brute force, but of ingenuity. Using the Void Engine's capabilities, the Sol Federation would execute a daring gambit. Simultaneous precision strikes on key Council strongholds across multiple star systems. These targets weren't civilian centers or innocents. They were military outposts and communication hubs controlled by Corthan's extremists. By crippling their ability to coordinate an attack, humanity hoped to buy time for diplomacy to take root without causing unnecessary bloodshed. As the operation began, the Eclipse served as command central, coordinating fleets of smaller ships equipped with quantum-encrypted transmissions to avoid detection. Each vessel carried advanced EMP weapons designed to disable enemy systems temporarily rather than destroy them outright. This approach underscored humanity's moral stance. They sought not revenge, but justice. The first wave hit near Nexus Prime itself, where Corthan's flagship loomed menacingly close to the station. With pinpoint accuracy, the Eclipse deployed drones that unleashed electromagnetic pulses, disabling the ship's engines and leaving it adrift. Simultaneously, other Federation vessels struck distant targets deep within Council territory, disrupting supply lines and cutting off reinforcements before Corthan's forces could regroup. News of the attacks spread quickly through the galaxy, sparking outrage among some, but also admiration from others. Oppressed species long under the Council's thumb saw this as proof that humanity wasn't just another tyrant seeking power. They were fighting back against corruption while sparing lives. Zinara, watching events unfold from Nexus Prime, turned to her fellow ambassadors. "They've shown restraint and strategy," she said. "Would we have done the same?" Meanwhile, Dr. Vasquez broadcast a message directly to the galactic public, bypassing the Council's usual channels. In calm, measured tones, she explained the truth about Corthan's betrayal and humanity's actions. "We don't seek war," she declared, "but neither will we tolerate being used as scapegoats for someone else's greed. Today, we fight not to conquer, but to protect, to give all of you a chance to choose your own future." Her words resonated deeply, igniting protests on planets loyal to the Council. Species once silenced by fear now demanded answers, calling for investigations into Corthan's activities. Even moderate factions within the Council began questioning their loyalty to him, realizing his extremism threatened stability far more than humanity ever could. Back aboard the Eclipse, Rhea monitored the situation closely. Though the initial strike succeeded, she knew Corthan wouldn't surrender easily. His remaining forces regrouped, launching counterattacks aimed at reclaiming lost ground. But humanity had one final card to play: the Void Engine itself. Activating its space-time manipulation abilities, the Federation created temporary wormholes that allowed allied ships to appear suddenly behind enemy lines, catching Corthan's forces off guard. By the time the dust settled, Corthan's power base lay in ruins. His flagship was captured, and he was taken into custody by Zinara's forces, who vowed to bring him to trial. For the first time in centuries, cracks appeared in the Council's iron grip over the galaxy. Humanity's gambit had paid off, but the real challenge lay ahead. As the galaxy looked to Earth with newfound respect, the question remained: how would humanity wield its hard-won influence? And could they truly unite a fractured cosmos under a banner of hope? For now, though, Captain Rhea Morales stood on the bridge of the Eclipse, gazing out at the stars. Against all odds, humanity had proven it belonged among them, not as outcasts, but as equals. The aftermath of humanity's daring gambit rippled across the galaxy like a shockwave. Corthan's capture and the exposure of his extremist faction fractured the once unified Galactic Council, leaving it weakened and divided. For centuries, the Council had ruled with an iron fist, suppressing dissent and maintaining control through fear. But now, cracks were widening, both within its ranks and among the oppressed species who made up the majority of its population. Oppressed civilizations began to rise up, emboldened by humanity's actions. On distant moons and barren planets, protests erupted as people demanded freedom from the Council's tyranny. Some species declared independence outright, severing ties with their former overlords. Others sent envoys to Nexus Prime, seeking alliances with humanity and the growing coalition of rebel factions. It was clear that the tide was turning, and humanity stood at the forefront of this galactic revolution. But leadership brought challenges. President Amara Chen convened an emergency session aboard the Eclipse, bringing together human leaders, allied ambassadors, and representatives from newly liberated worlds. The question on everyone's mind was simple yet profound. What next? Should they dismantle the council entirely, risking chaos in its place, or reform it into something fairer, ensuring justice and equality for all species? Dr. Elena Vasquez, though frail and exhausted from the events at Nexus Prime, offered her perspective. "We cannot destroy what holds the galaxy together," she said softly but firmly. "The Council was built on ideals of unity and cooperation, even if those ideals were corrupted over time. Our task is not to erase it, but to rebuild it." Her words resonated deeply, especially with Zanara, whose Tytherian people had long suffered under the Council's rule. Together, they proposed a new vision: the United Galactic Alliance, UGA, a coalition dedicated to replacing the old system with one based on mutual respect and shared governance. Every species, regardless of size or strength, would have an equal voice. Technology and resources would be shared freely, fostering collaboration instead of exploitation. The idea gained traction quickly, but resistance remained. Hardline members of the Council refused to relinquish power, vowing to fight until the end. Their remaining fleets regrouped near the capital planet of Aurelus 9, preparing for a final stand. Knowing that war couldn't be avoided forever, Captain Ria Morales led the Federation fleet toward the looming battle, determined to protect the fragile alliance taking shape. The climactic clash occurred above Aurelus 9, a breathtaking world of shimmering oceans and crystalline spires. The skies ignited with bursts of energy as ships clashed in chaotic dogfights. Outnumbered and outgunned, humanity relied on strategy and innovation to survive. Using the Void Engine's space-time manipulation abilities, the Eclipse created unpredictable wormholes, allowing allied ships to strike where the enemy least expected. Drones equipped with EMP weapons disrupted communications, sowing confusion among the Council's forces. Yet even with these advantages, victory seemed uncertain. Just when hope began to waver, reinforcements arrived. Entire fleets from liberated worlds, joining the fight against their former oppressors. Seeing their numbers swell gave humanity and its allies the edge they needed. One by one, the Council's ships fell back, retreating into the void. In the final moments, Zanara stepped forward to broker peace. Addressing the remnants of the Council, she spoke with quiet authority. "Your era has ended. The galaxy demands change, and we are here to build it together." As the dust settled, humanity took its rightful place at the head of the UGA, guiding the transition to a brighter future. For the first time in history, the stars felt within reach, not as conquerors, but as equals. Back aboard the Eclipse, Ria Morales gazed out at the battlefield turned silent graveyard. Humanity had proven itself stronger than anyone thought possible. But as she looked to the horizon, she knew the journey was far from over. The galaxy awaited, and so did countless untold stories. The war was over, but the work of rebuilding had only just begun. With the Galactic Council dismantled and replaced by the United Galactic Alliance, UGA, humanity stepped into its new role as a leader among the stars. For the first time in centuries, the galaxy felt united, not through fear or domination, but through shared purpose and mutual respect. Dr. Elena Vasquez watched from Earth as the UGA's charter was signed aboard Nexus Prime. Her frail hands trembled slightly as she held the ceremonial pen, but her eyes sparkled with pride. "This is what we've been fighting for," she said softly to President Amara Chen, who stood beside her. "Not power, but partnership. Not conquest, but cooperation." The Void Engine became the centerpiece of this new era. Rather than hoarding its secrets, humanity shared its knowledge freely with the UGA, teaching other species how to harness its power responsibly. Instantaneous travel opened doors that had long been closed, connecting distant worlds and fostering cultural exchange on an unprecedented scale. Entire civilizations flourished as resources flowed freely between planets, curing famines, ending wars, and sparking revolutions in science and art. Yet even amid celebration, there were challenges. Some factions within the former council resisted integration, retreating to isolated regions of space where they plotted revenge. Others questioned whether humanity truly deserved its leadership role, whispering about arrogance and ambition. But Captain Ria Morales, now appointed as the head of the UGA's defense forces, remained vigilant. Under her command, fleets patrolled the galaxy, ensuring peace while protecting fragile alliances. On Earth, life transformed dramatically. Once scared by pollution and conflict, the planet now thrived as a beacon of sustainability and innovation. Forests reclaimed barren lands, oceans teemed with life again, and cities gleamed with green rooftops and solar panels. Humanity's colonies across the solar system grew stronger, their contributions vital to the UGA's success. Mars became a hub for scientific research, Titan a center for energy production, and Europa a sanctuary for artists and philosophers seeking inspiration beneath its icy surface. As years passed, stories of Earth's resilience spread throughout the galaxy, inspiring countless generations. The tale of Project Phoenix, a symbol of hope born from despair, was taught in schools across star systems, reminding everyone of what could be achieved when unity triumphed over division. One day, Dr. Vasquez stood atop a hill overlooking the Andes Mountains, where the Void engine had once been hidden. Now elderly and weak, she leaned on a cane, gazing at the horizon. Behind her stood Cal Armitage, whose redemption had become one of the most celebrated stories in the galaxy. "Do you think we did enough?" he asked quietly. Vasquez smiled, her voice steady despite her age. "Enough? No. There will always be more to do, but we gave them a foundation, a chance to dream bigger than ever before. That's all anyone can ask for." Far above, aboard the Eclipse, Captain Ria Morales prepared for another mission. This time, it wasn't a battle, it was exploration. The Void engine allowed humanity to venture beyond the known galaxy, into realms uncharted by any species. As the ship accelerated toward the edge of the cosmos, Ria looked out at the endless expanse of stars. She thought of the sacrifices made, the lives lost, and the dreams realized. And she knew that humanity's journey was far from over. In the end, it wasn't about proving superiority or claiming territory. It was about something much greater: connection. Humanity had risen from exile to lead not because they were the strongest, but because they understood that true strength came from working together. They had shown the galaxy what was possible when differences were embraced rather than feared. And so, as the Eclipse disappeared into the void, carrying humanity's hopes and ambitions with it, the galaxy entered a new dawn, one filled with promise, possibility, and the unyielding spirit of those who dared to reach for the stars.